The world is packed with vulnerabilities and deterrents that can undoubtedly shake our certainty. Outside impacts, cultural assumptions, and the assessments of others frequently endeavor to influence us from our picked way. In such conditions, our self-trust turns into the bedrock of our direction and activities. Confiding in oneself is an internal excursion, our very own significant investigation profundities and capacities. The groundbreaking interaction requires fortitude, self-reflection, and an eagerness to challenge our own restrictions. Consider the well-known philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche, who argued that the will to power is fundamental to human nature. Nietzsche accepted that genuine power lies inside oneself, not in the control or mastery of others. Nietzsche says that having confidence in oneself means accepting the power and potential that are already inside of us, and working toward personal development and success. Envision a boat exploring tricky waters, rocked by wild tempests and encompassed by vulnerability. The boat's skipper should confide in their own abilities and instinct to direct the vessel securely to its objective. They depend on their insight into route, their capacity to decipher the stars and flows, and their inward determination to settle on basic choices. In this similarity, the boat addresses our lives, and the commander represents our confidence in ourselves. We must rely on our own inner compass to navigate the challenges and uncertainties that life presents, just as the captain does. Accepting one's vulnerability and the unknown is essential to having faith in oneself. Recognizing that mistakes and failures are part of growth is necessary. Consider a tightrope walker venturing onto a slender wire suspended high over the ground. They must have faith in their own skill, focus, and balance at every step. Despite the fact that they are aware that they could fall, they continue their journey with faith in their abilities. In a similar vein, having confidence in oneself necessitates recognizing the inherent dangers of life, and the willingness to take calculated leaps of faith, all while being aware that we have the ability to recover from our mistakes. Confiding in oneself additionally includes paying attention to our internal voice, in the midst of the commotion of outer impacts. It is likened to a solitary individual navigating a huge wild. To survive and thrive in its environment, the wolf relies on its instincts and intuition. In a similar vein, when we have faith in ourselves, we are able to access our inner guidance and intuition, allowing it to direct our decisions and actions. Even in the face of societal pressures and opposing viewpoints, we acquire the ability to identify what resonates with our true selves and remain true to our values. There are various moving personalities and edified spirits on the planet who can act as wellsprings of motivation on our singular ways. They may be able to provide helpful advice and insights. In any case, the obligation lies with us to explore our own excursion. Nobody can protect us from our own dull evening of the spirit. There are actions we must take on our own and experiences we can only have. Going with and being propelled by others isn't just satisfactory, however, can improve. We can gain from their insight, draw motivation from their excursions, and integrate their experiences into our own. In any case, the way we pick is our own alone. Nobody can carry on with our lives for us or remove the difficulties and development that are intrinsic in our own excursions. We grow and get closer to the core of who we are through our own efforts, choices, and reflection. We have set out upon this natural excursion to investigate and encounter. Our spirits long for investigation, every one of us bound to navigate our special ways, revealing our profound bits of insight and savoring the delights of our singular rides. Our motivation here is to advance, to extend our cognizance, and embrace our own development. Because it is a personal endeavor that we must undertake alone, no one can take on this responsibility on our behalf. Some people make the claim that they have the final truths and present them as indisputable and unalterable. They lure you to give up your independence, to take cues from them indiscriminately. But keep in mind that their truth is solely theirs. Although it may provide guidance and inspiration for your journey, it is not the complete truth that defines your existence. Challenge their lessons, analyze their speculations, and think about their cases in contrast to the setting of your own insight. To believe yourself is to leave on a laborious mission, to ask determinedly and question bravely. It is to sort through the vast amount of information and find what resonates with your soul. Reality you look for lies not in that frame of mind of others, but rather inside the offices of your own spirit. While others might share their points of view and bits of insight, recollect that their reality is theirs alone, formed by their one-of-a-kind encounters and comprehension of the world. Take advantage of the power of inquiry, because it is through questioning that we dispel the myths that bind us. Allow uncertainty to be your partner, empowering you to look for more profound, to unwind the layers of discernment that cover reality. In your tenacious quest for truth, you might experience difficulties, misfortunes, and even snapshots of gloom. Be that as it may, recollect, the award isn't exclusively in the objective, however, in the actual demonstration of looking for. Have unflinching trust in your internal power, for it can possibly drive you towards self-acknowledgement, notwithstanding vulnerabilities that come your direction, for they give ripe ground to the development of your own reality. Approach life with an unwavering spirit of inquiry, tracing every possible path to knowledge, and striving for greater comprehension with each step. Reclaiming your identity, vision, and intuition and acting on them without hesitation or remorse is the only way to undergo the transformation. We can honor our individual desires, abilities, and goals by accepting our individual paths. We should create our own authentic existence, not conform to others or imitate them. By delving into our own truths, we can tap into the limitless potential that lies within us, and find contentment in leading lives that are in harmony with our most fundamental selves. Similarly, as a muscle develops further with reliable activity, our instinct twists with standard practice. By making space for calm reflection, contemplation, and quietness, we welcome the murmurs of our instinct to surface. We are able to better understand the subtle cues and nudges that direct us in the right direction when we are in these moments of inner silence. We become more receptive to the cues our intuition gives us as we practice. In the midst of the noise of external opinions and expectations, we learn to hear its soft whispers. We learn to tell the voice of our intuition from the chatter of fear or doubt through trial and error. The more we pay attention to and trust our instinct, the more grounded it becomes. It turns into a dependable compass, directing us towards decisions and activities that line up with our credible selves. It may not necessarily in every case give obvious responses, but rather it offers a feeling of internal knowing and a profound association with our reality. In our current reality, where authority is maintained as truth and foundations look to control, it becomes pivotal to embrace your legitimacy and trust yourself. Try not to capitulate to the shell rounds of the people who guarantee to hold restrictive information. Realness and self-trust are the antitoxins to this deception. In the midst of the turmoil of history, where no one genuinely knows what's happening, we are left with the most realistic estimations that are frequently masked as untruths. Truth remains provisional while knowledge is elusive, uncertain, and constantly shifting. It is absurd to believe that other people will lead us into the truth and out of ignorance. We are the ones who seek enlightenment. It is exactly through considering scrutinizing that we enable our encounters and find our actual selves. The way is to trust yourself and your instincts and to reject authority. Nothing is truly known. These are only various types of control contrived by clerical stations to keep up with control. The main thing is your involvement with the current second. Reject the idea that authority is inseparable from intelligence or illumination. All things being equal, develop confidence in your own judgment. Break liberated from the shackles of philosophy and the control components that look to restrict you. Society frequently energizes blind acknowledgement, encouraging us to adjust to principles and belief systems undoubtedly. Be that as it may, genuine freedom lies in the capacity to think basically and pay attention to our internal direction. We choose to be selective rather than blindly accept everything and embrace only those things that align with our values, beliefs, and goals. The general public we live in has unobtrusively helped us to leave free reasoning, encouraging us to embrace foreordained systems decisively. Because it makes it harder for us to find our own truth, this conditioning can be hard to break free of. We can, however, navigate life within the constraints of societal expectations, with newfound clarity and authenticity, by reconnecting with our inner voice and reclaiming our independence. In a universe of different voices, conclusions, and experiences, recall that your internal voice is fundamental. By figuring out how to stand by listening to it, you can perceive what resounds with your inward insight. As opposed to tolerating aimlessly, be specific, embracing what lines up with you, and deferentially dismissing the rest. Trust your inward voice, it knows exactly what you really like.